The challenges facing our teens today mean that more than ever, we need to be there to support them and encourage them. The Dr. STEM Show is here to provide discussions about topics that will help promote healthy relationships, self-image, and success for teens, parents, and the community. Our young people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. The Dr. STEM Show, hosted by Dr. STEM Malatini, will foster these discussions and encourage your participation.
Today's show is Against All Odds with Marie Younger Blackburn, a visionary and event planner of Driven, Cape Cod Conference for Women. Welcome to the Dr. STEM Show and welcome Miss Marie Blackburn.
Thank you, Dr. STEM. Thank you for having me here today.
I am so excited. I'm thrilled because you represent what the Dr. STEM Show represents: empowerment, motivation, inspiration, education. I mean, you name it. So we call this Against All Odds, and I want the audience to understand you will get answers on why we called it Against All Odds, because this is a brave woman that went against all odds to do what she's been doing, with the Cape Cod Conference for Women. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you to just tell the audience who you are. Mm-hmm. Who is Marie Younger Blackburn?
Sure. I'm a wife and a mother. I live on Cape Cod. I run a business called Simply Black and White Events and Catering, and I work in conjunction with my son, Chef Ralph. We have a multi-generational catering business, and I do a lot of community service and organizing on Cape Cod.
Okay. You know what? Before you had sent me a profile, and let me just read a little bit of it because I see that you left some people in the portfolio, and they might say, "Mommy, how come you didn't mention me?" Mm-hmm. So, in addition, she said she's a wife and she's a mother of 3 sons. Ralph, who's 34, Dane, 25, and 11-year-old Chase. I know he's your heart, so are the 2 guys, but he's a child who was born with developmental delays, Down syndrome. And Marie, as she said, she's the owner of Simply Black and White Events and Sales and marketing manager of Simply Black and White Catering. You're also a graduate of the Community Leadership Institute, and you're on the advisory board and board member of the Cape Cod and Islands Wedding Group. That's exciting. And you're the former chair of Mashpee Housing Authority and Mashpee Human Services and a member of the Falmouth Affordable Housing Task Force. Hearing all that, what does it represent and what does that mean about your life and where you are today?
I think it represents a life of service, and that's what I am about. I'm about serving my community and my fellow man, and I think that money follows service. So it's not my focus. My focus is providing a better life for my family and those around me, and just using my talents and gifts to give what I can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We talk about the Cape Cod Conference for Women because that is the biggest event, I think, that is coming up that you have developed and coordinated. Tell us a little bit about how it started.
Okay. So it started a year ago. Yes. And I was having a conversation with one of my referral partners. We were sitting down and discussing what's next for us. And I simply said, I want to bring a conference to Cape Cod, not really knowing what all of that would entail or having a plan. And I kind of spent a long time gathering a network. So I have a large network of people. So I just started to use that network. I called some influential people, one of our state reps in our area, and I asked him to make some connections for me. And it just snowballed. It was just a snowball effect. And Driven became a mantra and a theme. And just seeing all the talent and the women around Cape Cod and making a call for action, women came in droves to really get behind me and my vision to bring what's best about them to the table. And in 5 or 6 short months, we had an event, a very successful first year of a sold-out event in 12 inches of snow.
Wow. You know, the event itself is called Driven, and I hope you can see this card. It's coming up March 10th, 2016, and it's going to be at 8:30 to 5:30. Tickets are going in advance right now for $125. And they will have keynote speakers, vendors, door prizes, but mostly this is one time that women can actually go out, be together with other women of influence like myself, get coaching, get information to motivate you to become an influence in your communities is what Driven is all about. Tell us the first one that you had. How did that go, and what kind of speakers did you have for the women?
Okay. I was excited last year. We, the first year's theme were women who were first in their industry.
Yes.
So we had a woman named Dorothy Savarese. She's the president of Cape Cod 5-cent Savings Bank. We had Mashpee's first firefighter, first female firefighter. We had the first female president of Cape Cod Community College. We had the first South African professor, and she was a 35-year-old professor, doctor, and lawyer. We had the first dentist and the first CEO of Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, just in our opening panel. So we had a moderator, and they were presented questions. Also, our conference is high energy, so we broke out in Zumba and wowed the crowd with the Zumba. And we use these cards as promotional tools. So we have everyone from the governor of Massachusetts to firefighters and people in the service and women all across the state hold these Driven Women cards as a symbol of support and solidarity to our movement. And we had an opening video to the song, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Yeah.
Then we had breakout sessions. So we had 12 total for the day.
Yes.
In the areas of finance and networking, some coaching, leadership, organization. So some of the typical topics that you will hear at a women's conference. However, my criteria is dynamic and interactive.
Yes.
And put a twist on those, those normal, things that we see. Just take it up a notch. So we had a successful day. We had phenomenal shopping. We had everything from headshots to makeup artists, masseuses, to give you those girly elements, that you come to like. But the main thing is our venue is so beautiful. It's at the Seacrest Beach Hotel in North Falmouth, right on the ocean. So we have an opportunity to spend the night there. Many women stayed over.
Oh, for the night before.
The night before and the night after, and we woke up and communed together. And we had an after party, wine and cheese after party, and we just stayed up and just celebrated in the evening and had breakfast together and woke up, if you choose. Women came from all over, so.
Yes. I know I will be there, most definitely, because my birthday is March 9th and this is March 10th.
Absolutely.
So I'm probably going to be at the resort for the whole week celebrating my birthday.
Perfect. Perfect.
I know. So you talk about finance, networking, health and wellness, fundraising, holistic remedies, team building, women and leadership. There's coaching as well that is there.
Sure.
Why women empowerment?
Women are a big segment, they're half the population, and we do so much.
Yes.
We are connected, whether it's on a corporate level or, there's women in retail and banking and all areas of our economy. And women need to be empowered. They need to know their value, their worth. There's no limitations on what they can do and become. So when we come together, I think it's just a way to network and cheer each other on and share. Part of our mission is to share useful and relevant information, so that they can have things to use to go out into their workplaces, their communities, their homes, to do a better job.
Yes.
Yeah, so just equip them with what they need to know, information.
And one of the things that I also have to add on to that is, as women, one thing that we look for is authenticity. On, you know, who's putting this together? Are they serving from the heart? Do they really care about me? So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Miss Marie so that she can open up herself on some of the fears, you know, who she is and the struggles of coming to this point where she will be serving hundreds more next year at the Women's Cape Cod Conference for Women. I got that right. We'll be right back.
As a youth motivational speaker, author, and coach, Dr. STEM understands that in a world where today's youth and parents are jaded and disappointed by institutions and people they perceive as out of touch with the reality of their lives, motivation is a dose that is much needed. It's time to excel. Dr. STEM Malatini is a refreshing change from the typical speaker. Dr. STEM understands the pressures, heartaches, temptations, hopes, and dreams of the generation that is just now coming of age. Students listen in transfixed silence as she speaks with the clarity and confidence of someone who has worked with teens, parents, and teachers for over 20 years. Her high-energy school assembly programs create a defining moment for schools and provide an experience students never forget. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmalatini@gmail.com or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
Welcome back. We are talking to Marie Younger Blackburn, who is the visionary founder and planner of Driven Cape Cod's Conference for Women. So we have the second segment, and during our break, she's going, can they see my nails? So I'm going to have her show you her nails.
Purple is our color.
Nails.
Yeah.
See, and this is the one thing that I love about, you know, women. We do that. Sometimes people will be like, what, your nails? But hey, you got to show off your nails and everything. We have purple on, and people might wonder, why are they both wearing purple? Why are we wearing purple?
There's something about purple in women. It's regal and it's majestic, and it screams, the regality of a woman when I see it, and it inspires me. So from when I start planning in October all the way to March, there's purple elements that I wear, clothing or nails or eyeshadow or whatever, and it just reminds me of my vision and my mission, and it guides me.
Yes.
Simple.
Well, purple makes you skinny as well. So if you're a woman that want to be skinny, wear purple. I want my purple today. And she's going, oh, you look skinny today. So, hey, I love purple because it makes me skinny. I say to the audience before we went on break that one thing that women look for is authenticity. They want somebody who's, coming from the heart and serving them from the heart. So let's get a little bit vulnerable and talk about putting together a conference for women. What does it take? Are there any fears that you had to overcome doing that? Because every woman has a dream out there that they want to be able to birth as well, just the way that you did with yours.
Sure.
Yeah.
Part of our vision and our mission is collaboration. Yeah. And when I set out to do this conference, like I said, I did a call to action. In my first meeting, to my surprise, I put a call to action out on Facebook. And when I arrived at Panera Bread in Mashpee, there had to be about 20 women lined up. They had laid the tables out and they were ready with their notebooks in hand, and they wanted a part and a piece and to take ownership from day one. And then the work began, and those who weren't in line with the mission and vision and maybe had some other ideas kind of weeded themselves out, and those who were loyal are still loyal to this day. So it started with a call to action, and what I decided was I've coined a phrase, and it's called collaboration is key, but loyalty is essential. So that gives us the opportunity to collaborate with any and everyone. I don't have fears about collaborating with other event planners or caterers, because they could be of use to me. So that's where the work began, where women came to the table, and all I ask is that they bring the best of what they have, their skill set. So what I'm doing is creating a community of collaborative women who see that there's value in what they have to give, and in turn, money will follow their service. My network is so big that and so varied that there's always people coming to the table because they want to get involved. So it creates this environment where women are meeting one another and connecting. They're putting on their own events. They're getting, the ideas that they are working on, they're getting that fed by one another. So it's a wonderful collaborative community. So I just use the network that I've built over years. I'm a certified networker, and I'm a member of BNI, Business Networking International, and they're one of our sponsors that jump on first every year, and I appreciate that. But I use the network that I have to ask for what I need. It is a scary, daunting toss. I met with Governor Patrick and took a driven photo with him, and I said, Governor, I said, I'm Black and I'm female and I'm on Cape Cod, and I'm bringing Cape Cod's first conference for women to town, and I'm afraid. And he said, good, Marie. He said, use that fear, use it to fuel you. And from that day on, I did. I used the fear to fuel me, to say, I can't fail and I won't fail. So I'm scared. There's costs that need to be met. There's sponsors that need to be brought on the table. There's lots and lots of details, and I'm a stickler for details when I do events. And I want to do a good job for the women of Cape Cod. I want to bring honor to my community. So it's really important to me to do the work. All I have to do is wake up every day and do the work. So I do. And I get really good, loyal people around me. I have criteria. There's things I listen for and actions that speak louder than words that really tell me who's in my corner. And it hasn't come without cost, and I have mentors. My parents are on speed dial. I have coaches like Dr. Stem that are on speed dial. I have prayer. In my life, and like I said, I set out to do the best work that I can.
What I like about Driven is the fact that not only are you empowering other women to be driven, you are living it. You are getting yourself pumped up and driving yourself and being the one that is paving the way and making it happen. I see you, talking to me and going to a meeting. I'm going to this one and I'm holding this community meeting, but I have a, meeting for planning that we're doing for the conference. Yesterday we met, the last 2 days we were at the huge 10,000 Women Mass Conference for Women that we were at. So what it teaches me and tells me is, for any woman out there that wants to have their dream come true, that wants to do something with their life, it takes work. People are going to be there for you, and some will not be there for you.
Sure.
It's also fearful, but you cannot, give up.
Sure.
You have to deal with the fear.
Sure.
And you never know who will give you the advice like you got from the governor until you reach out there and go and ask. Was it hard for you to ask for help, or is it still hard for you to ask for help?
It's not hard for me to ask for help. I know the principle of asking for help, ask and it shall be given, and I believe that. So the only way to get help is to open my mouth and ask for it. And I don't have a problem with that. There's when I started this conference, my mother said, if you are kind, and if you are humble, and if you know it's not about you, I'm with you. And I live by those principles, and I humbly ask for what I need. When I walked into the Mass Conference for Women the other day, I went to the pre-event on Wednesday evening. I ran into the event planner for that big, massive event, and I greeted her. And for 3 years in a row, we've had a conversation. And I told her that I did it. I said, I went and after, meeting you, I went and I brought a conference for women to Cape Cod. And the first thing out of her mouth was, what can I do to help you?
Wow.
How can I help you? And then the event coordinator on the event said, I will help you. Now, that is my goal and my mission, that women would be so willing to work together and to give to one another, whatever it is they can, within reason when they can. Yes. I was just so blown away by that, and I saw it as the biggest blessing that I could have. Yeah. And also to link up with those women will add such credibility to Cape Cod's Conference for Women. They said, what can I do? We're going to put you on social media. Mm-hmm. And she said, email me, we'll help you. Yes. I was blown away by that. So asking for help is really the key for any woman who's struggling with, I want to have this business idea, I want to do this project. Ask for help. Get those around you. Even the president, they do their work because they have a good cabinet, right? They have good people around them, good advisors. I have really good advisors, yes. And I use them. Yes. Yeah, and they start at home with my parents. They're my moral compass. I can call them, and when they see things out of line, they'll say, yeah. And then, I correct or something like that. And I have my children. I'm accountable. Yeah. To people. You have to have an accountability. You're right. And then a purity of heart to know that, like my mother said, it's not about you, okay? So some people say, well, it is about you, Marie. But what I'm trying to say is my vision and my mission was about and is about the women of Cape Cod in my community. So
I like that because, one of the things that I've noticed about you as well is you keep saying for the women, for the women. So when you say that, it becomes inclusive sure. of all the other women. Mm-hmm. So I will say it right here, right now. After meeting with you, I came home because I was on your show. And I came home, I'm a workaholic, I'm always working. And my passion is empowering and inspiring, women and youth. And the men out there always says, what about us? But I think, once we do that, the women and the youth, and get them to get to that point where they feel empowered, then the men can be a part of it. We become easier to manage. Sure. Yeah. So I want to bring in empowerment seminars to the North Shore. We'll start, here in the North Shore, and I will be putting them across the country. So I will be asking for help. Mm-hmm. To put those together mm-hmm. so that, we can have more of these conferences in every community. Sure. Do you have plans to put in some youth, aspect, talking about youth in those, conferences? I'll have you think about that and take another quick break so that we can talk about the youth involvement in this conference. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back.
How much difficulty do you have getting your employees or your customers to listen to the solutions you can offer? This may be one of the great frustrations in business. It's time to excel. Dr. Stem now offers solutions with her Soft Skills Leadership Training Program and the Women's Executive Leadership Training Program. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmalattini@gmail.com. or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
Welcome back. Marie Younger Blackburn is talking to us today about Driven, the Cape Cod's Conference for Women. And before we went on break, I asked her about the inclusion of a youth program in Driven. Mm-hmm. And, is that something that's going to happen sometime? Sure,
it's already happening. Okay. It was in our first year. We had a company called the Atria. They're a senior living facility. Okay. They sponsored a table for youth. So I contacted high schools across Cape Cod and had, there were girls who were seniors in high school who were invited at no cost to the event. This year, that's taken on even a bigger role. We had also Mass Maritime Academy sent cadets from the college, and they were in their cadet uniforms, and we had a table of them. And this year, we have the Workforce Investment Board and others who are really working to get youth to this conference, because I believe in the whole woman. So from youth to, we also have women who are retirees and beyond that will be at the conference. Yes. And a speaker that will speak to the transition, the life transition. So yeah, we have that in mind.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what, Miss Marie? before we end, and I know we're getting to the end, you have a lot to give. And I'm wondering where that comes from, that passion to give back to the community. Where does that come from?
Okay. It's a family value.
Yeah.
I was raised in it. It's in my blood. Recently, my aunt, Mildred Haley, from Boston, passed away. And you may have read about her in the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald. But she was executive director of the first tenant-managed housing authority in the country. And she went on to be a national model. She has reached up to the White House. And was partly responsible for the first anti-poverty bill in the country, and other things of that nature. But my parents were, I call them community organizers. Our door was always open for politicians and causes that were happening in our community. My dad worked for the city of Boston, Mayor Flynn's administration and Mayor White, and I grew up on the streets of Boston handing out political pamphlets. And also just championing needs of people in the community. So it's in my blood. So volunteering for boards like the YMCA and others is just part of who I am. And I teach that to my children. And education is really big in our family as well. So I think it's just, it's part of the fabric of which makes me who I am.
Yes, yes. Driven, tell us, why should women start considering taking that weekend off of Thursday, March 10th, 2016?
First of all, you could come to Cape Cod, which is beautiful at any time of year, but March is a particularly beautiful because we're on the cusp of spring and it's less inhabited by all that traffic. And, you know, if you need a getaway. So we are a destination conference, and we had women from New Hampshire, Vermont, Maryland, California last year, and All Points, Boston, and Cape Cod. So it's a beautiful setting. When you walk into our resort, we do the details so you have an aha moment. Yes. You'll meet women from all over to be able to connect and to network with. It's not as huge as the mass conference of women, so it's more intimate. You have a better chance of connecting. We have great vendors. The food is phenomenal. We have high energy. You'll be inspired. There'll be movement at this conference, great music, and a lot of useful, relevant information that you could use to go out to be the change in your business, your community, and in your home.
So it's a weekend to let your hair down.
Yeah.
It's a weekend to just be you, not care about responsibilities or work or anything, but to come in and get some information for personal and professional growth. I'm taking it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is a day-long conference for all intensive purposes, yes. But we are at a venue that you could book. We have a room rate that's very low, $89. You can book a room and stay overnight, stay the weekend if you like. We encourage that because yes. We get together, we have an after party, and then we get together in the morning for breakfast and bond some more. So, yeah, it's just a great opportunity to do something different, to come to Cape Cod and to see what's really happening down there. We have a lot of really phenomenal, dynamic women doing some great things.
Yes. And what I like about it is networking is always something that is, needed for professionals at all levels. So bring your business cards, bring, your information so that you can network with other women. As Marie said, you can also start something in your own area with the collaboration of the women that you meet at Cape Cod. So we hope to see you there. You'll get some free coaching, you'll get some free counseling because it's just among us and there's no fee for it. So come in with your questions as well, because sometimes we get there and then you meet someone and you go, I've always wanted to ask this question, and then you forget. So come prepared, and we're looking forward to Driven, which is at that resort place, Seacrest.
Mm-hmm.
Seacrest Resort and Conference Center. When I saw resort, I'm like, okay, I'm going.
Right.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And any last words of advice, anything that you want the audience to know about Driven?
Okay. First thing is our website is www.capecodconference.com. conferenceforwomen.com, and you can find out any kind of information that you want on Driven. The ticket price is $125 for the full day. It includes a light breakfast, a beautiful oceanfront lunch, and all that I described earlier. And there's testimonials and pictures and video on our website that will show you what happened last year and what you can expect. Our speakers will be put up on the website early next week. And there's just so much for every age group. It's a wonderful conference.
All right, put your purple on, and we'll see you on March 10th, 2016. Thank you so much. It's been awesome having you here on the show. I hope you can come back. If there are any progress, any things that you want, the women, the people to know in the community, please feel free to come back.
Awesome.
And be our guest.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
And thank you for watching the Dr. STEM Show.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. STEM Show. Have a terrific week.